I have another spooky story for you guys. This one was submitted by someone who believes she had either a cursed or haunted doll growing up. Super creepy, so let's just get right into her story. When I was 10 years old, I had a doll that was either haunted or cursed. I got her as a Christmas present from my parents. She had a frilly white dress, blonde curls, and bright blue eyes. I always wanted a doll like her, so she instantly became my favorite toy. A few months after Christmas, I brought the doll to my friend Lily's house. Lily was nice, but her family had a reputation in our small town. People used to say that her parents were into witchcraft and the occult. I didn't think much of it at the time because I didn't really understand what that meant. That day, Lily's mom was outside gardening, so it was just the two of us inside the house. We decided to sneak into her mom's bedroom, which we weren't supposed to do, but we did anyway. It was dim and smelled faintly of something herbal, maybe like an incense type of scent. Lily was giggling and said she wanted to show me something in the closet. Inside, there was something that looked kind of like a shrine. The shelves were lined with jars and bottles that were filled with cloudy liquids. There were strange symbols written on the walls, and there was just a general uneasy feeling when you stepped into that closet. In the middle of the closet, there was a small table with candles that were melted down to the stubs. So while we were exploring, we heard the front door open. Lily's mom was back inside, so we bolted out of the room so fast that I didn't even realize until later that I'd left my doll sitting in the corner of that closet. I was too scared to say anything to her mom, so I just figured I would get her the next time I visited. But I really didn't need to wait because Lily brought her to school the next day and gave her back to me. When I got home, I noticed the doll looked a little different. Her bright blue eyes weren't shiny anymore. They were still blue, but they were a bit cloudy. I thought it might just be the lighting, but later that week, I was passing by her when I saw one of her eyes shift slightly. This was something I'd never seen before on that doll. I also started to hear whispering. I'd be in my room and I would hear a faint voice that was too low to make out any words, but it was definitely coming from her direction. As soon as I'd pick her up, the whispering would stop. But the second I set her down and walked away, the whispering would start again. I also noticed that she started following me. One particularly creepy incident happened when I left her in my room one afternoon while I was home alone. I went downstairs to watch TV in the living room and ended up falling asleep. When I woke up, she was sitting upright in an armchair, staring directly at me. Another time, I left her on my desk and later found her in the kitchen, sitting by the sugar jar. I also had nightmares where she was alive and telling me to hurt people, specifically my parents, my classmates, and my teachers. Now that I think back, it's weird that she actually never told me to harm Lily. For some reason in my dreams, I always called her Remy, but I have no idea where that name came from. I asked Lily if anything strange had happened with the doll, just to see if there was some sort of explanation for why all of a sudden these things started happening. Lily said she hadn't noticed anything and that her mom found the doll in her closet, brought it back over to Lily, and told her to give the doll back to me and then punished her for us going into her closet. Without a word to anyone, Lily and her family ended up moving away about a month later. Over time, my behavior changed. I became sad and withdrawn because of how much the nightmares affected me. Eventually, my parents noticed and sent me to therapy. The therapist said that I had formed an unnatural attachment to the doll and was imagining the whispers and the movement. But I knew that wasn't the case. This was entirely real. This went on for almost 2 years. Then, one Saturday morning, my dad just had enough. We were having a yard sale, and without telling me, he ended up selling Remy. I cried and begged him to get her back, but he refused. Dreams didn't stop right away. For about a year, I'd still see her in my nightmares, threatening me and telling me that I needed to get her back. But then one night, I finally slept without a nightmare, and I haven't dreamed about her since. I don't know for sure what made them stop, but I suspect that the person who bought her might have realized there was something wrong and ended up destroying her, or maybe they end up trapping whatever was inside of her so that it couldn't get out anymore. So what do you guys think about this story? Do you actually believe that a doll can be haunted or cursed? Leave your thoughts down in the comments and don't forget to like and follow for more spooky stories.